Welcome back to Dropped In. I am super stoked to be here with you today and to share some microdose hits of magic and medicine with you. So, full transparency, my life has felt very uncertain as of late, which got me reflecting into the very first life coach certification that I took way back in the day, 7 years ago, with Tony Robbins and Chloe Madonis. And so the foundational work around this training was really learning the psychology behind what motivates us as human beings. And in this energy, in this space of what motivates us as humans, there are 6 human needs, which we all are motivated by. And of the 6 human needs, there is typically 2 human needs that are our driving force, the ones that really motivate us towards something that we're wanting to achieve, or even away from something that we're wanting to achieve or create. Just like anything, there is a light and a dark, a light and a shadow piece to these 6 human needs. And so the 6 human needs, if you aren't familiar with them, are certainty, uncertainty, significance, love and connection, growth, and contribution. And so if we were to look on the light side and the dark side, for example, of contribution, the light side would be that we are contributing to the humanity in the utmost amazing, incredible, expansive ways. Or we could be contributing to humanity in the most detrimental ways, the most dysfunctional ways, the most horrific ways. So like anything, there's a light and a darkness, a light and a shadow piece to our 6 human needs. And so as humans, we crave certainty, we crave uncertainty, we crave significance, we crave love and connection, we crave growth, we crave contribution. And I'm going to be speaking specifically today around certainty and uncertainty. And so when things in our life start to feel uncertain, we find a way to find some form of certainty, some form of normality, something that can bring us back to a place of feeling safe and secure, even if it's detrimental to our overall well-being. So, as I shared, my life has been feeling very uncertain as of late. And I've opened up and shared very openly and transparently of, there's been a lot going on for me in my personal life with my extended family. It has been very stressful. It has been feeling very overwhelming, exhausting, all the heaviness in the world that you could imagine has what my husband and I have been feeling in regards to what's been occurring with our extended family. And I've also been experiencing rapid growth, significant growth and expansion within myself and my business, which also comes into the space of feeling very uncertain because this hasn't been the norm. What I've been experiencing over these last few months has not been the norm, quote unquote, up until these last few months. And so when we feel uncertain, so for example, the chaos and the uncertainty and the stress and the overwhelm that we've been feeling within our personal lives with our extended family, what can we do on a psychology level to find certainty? And when we come into the space of holy man, all of this work that I have been so committed to, all of these big picture visions that I've been calling, and all of these deep desires that I have been co-creating have come to fruition beyond my wildest dreams, which again feels uncertain. And so when things feel uncertain, it is natural to want to find some form of normality, find some form of certainty. So what have I been doing to come back on an unconscious level to a space of certainty? Well, it has been so dialed in. It has become so certain for me to really come into the space of showing up for myself consistently, no matter what. I have created a foundational morning routine where I meditate, I journal, I move my energy, I move my body. I really get into this energetic state. That has been something that I've created as a form of certainty. As you know, I've also opened up about my history with the eating disorder, and I'm actually coming up 10 years free from it. However, throughout my life, when things felt uncertain, it was ingrained on a deep subconscious level to go back to food, to go back to this place of finding certainty and comfort in food. So I was on a call with a friend of whom, as I always share, practice what you preach, embody what you teach. We constantly are practicing on one another all of the skill sets that we've learned throughout our master practitioner to ensure that our skills, that our saw is super sharp. So we are the best coaches and mentors for ourselves and for our clients. And so we were going through a process of getting to the prime concern. And so I share with her some of the concerns that I was experiencing with my health, of how, I've been lacking that inspiration, that motivation to show up for my morning routine. I've been lacking that inspiration and motivation to fuel my body properly. I have been finding myself just kind of sitting, and instead of making nourishing meals, I'm kind of going to the quick things that I can just easily just eat, as opposed to really being intentional about nourishing my body. And it's so fascinating because that was my way of finding certainty. I went back to old habits, even though I had created this foundation of serving myself, foundation of meditating and journaling and moving my body and really getting into that energetic state to prime myself for my day, for my life, for my clients, for everyone that is in my energetic vortex. And I have overcome this eating disorder, of which I had for 10 years. However, I was slipping back to old behaviors where it was just like not being conscientious of what I was putting into my body. And it makes perfect sense. And so did I attach any meaning to any of this? No, not in any shape or form. However, I was very curious as to why this was my default. And it makes sense, because when things feel very uncertain, we have to find something as human beings that motivates us to find certainty. And so I am creating an abundance of success within myself and my business. Again, astronomical growth in what seems from an outside perspective in a short period of time, which is not true. I have been doing the work for the last 5 to 7 years, and I've had tremendous success up until, throughout every year. Very huge success. However, as of late, it's just been mind-blowing. And it feels like things are happening really quickly. in a beautiful way, and it feels uncertain. And again, all of this chaos and heaviness and stress that comes with aging parents and all of the uncertainty of all the things that were coming our way. How can I find some form of normality? How can I find some form of safety, of security, of certainty? Go back to old habits, go back to old behaviors. And I was able to shift the state through doing this work with prime concerns. However, I until that moment in time, I wasn't consciously aware of what was occurring. I always know this. I share this with my clients. In times of uncertainty, we are always going to find something to feel certain about. So specifically with individuals who may struggle with food and struggle with perhaps having disordered eating or having an eating disorder, it makes sense that when things feel stressful or uncertain, it's like, I'm going to go back to something that makes me feel comfortable. Do I feel like I've slipped and on like the cusp of going back to having an eating disorder? Goodness, no. I'm not attaching any meaning to it. I'm not doing anything in the behavior of what this eating disorder once had. However, I know that it was just this tendency to go back to a place of finding some form of normality. So as you listen to this, I invite you to reflect on what might be occurring in your life where things feel uncertain. Whether it's something like you're shifting and changing within your business, you're shifting and changing within yourself, you're shifting and changing within your relationships, and things are not quote unquote normal. Things aren't going how they typically are, and they feel uncertain. How can you find something in your life to create a form of certainty that is on the light side? So as I shared, when I was feeling this uncertainty, I went back to kind of the shadowy part of the certainty, where it was just like, I'm finding comfort in food. I'm finding comfort in going back to old behaviors. And then when I was able to do this work on a deep subconscious level and recognize, hey, I can still find certainty. I can find it on the light side. I don't have to find that certainty in the shadow part. I can find it in the light. Guess what? I got down and dirty with my morning routine. I started a 40-day meditation. I became very intentional about how I was moving my body. I became very intentional about how I was nourishing my body. I became very intentional again with the amount of water that I was taking in, because I let all those things slip as a form of going back to the shadowy parts of finding the certainty. However, because I established this very strong foundation within my morning routine, I was able to go back to that easily and effortlessly and find certainty in that energetic space. So, how can you find certainty amidst the uncertainty that you might be experiencing in your life? Again, this is part of the motivation behind what drives us as humans. We have the certainty, we have the uncertainty, we have that need for significance, that need for love and connection, that need for growth, and that need for contribution. So in the energy of certainty and uncertainty, how can you find a supportive way of which moves you towards your desired outcome, as apart from moving away from your desired outcome? So my desired outcome is to continue to be in the state of growing and expanding and evolving, and continuing to let my body know that it's safe to be in this space, and to continue to call in my soulmate clients, to call in the financial abundance so I can be of contribution even more so than I am now to the collective? And how can I find that space to be intentional about finding this certainty in the lightness to continue to support me in my expansion in the space of uncertainty? Because it's inevitable. It is part of human existence. So I invite you to really check in with how you are finding certainty in your life. And is it on the light side of life, or is it on the shadowy part of life, of the human needs? This was a huge light bulb moment for me, and it's hilarious because I share this on the daily with my clients. And for me to, I think, not consciously being aware of it was just like, wow, like this is occurring, right? So, you know, we're all human. And so I invite you to just release any pressure, any judgment, any meaning making that might be occurring right now in your life as you are trying to find a form of certainty in the uncertainty. And how can you choose to create this lightness that might be floating in the darkness and the shadowy parts to continue to move yourself forward? So until next time, I will see you on Dropped In. Thank you so much for dropping in with me today. If you loved this episode, I would be forever grateful if you rated and reviewed. And if you feel called to share it with your community on social media, please tag me so I can thank you personally. Until next time, I will see you on Dropped In.